What must I do for you humans to choose your divinity and throw aside your humanity? You felt no hunger, you felt no thirst, then why did you eat the fruit? Honestly, I had no answer for him. Why did I eat the fruit? The snake tricked me. It was nothing more than an impulse, but is that really true? I know the snake cannot be trusted. Yet, he pushed the situation to the point I couldn't even think, and I just acted. Oh, I went to speak and nothing came out. The being stopped it and simply said, "You mean to blame a snake instead of taking control of your own actions? You disappoint me, but a promise is a promise. I'll give you back your knowledge, all of it." I regained my knowledge in my head, and it felt as if I was full again. The couple sitting on the bench were my parents. I remember the face of my wife, my children, and grandchildren who were around me during my death at the hospital. I remembered it all. I broke down to tears, and I angrily lashed out at the being as to why he took everything from me. The being looked at me disgustedly. "I took nothing from you. What you lost during your descent was your own fault. Which is why you ended up in my world. I just didn't help you regain it. But now you have it all, so shouldn't you be happy?" He's right, whatever happened doesn't matter. I know everything now. I ask him if I can go back to his world for a moment just to speak to my mother and father once again. It would mean the world to me. I don't care what it would mean for you. It would mean nothing for me nor for them. Enough with your selfish attitude. Me being selfish? What about you? You're the one who prevents people from knowing their past, making them wander aimlessly through that gray world. What kind of God are you? Fine, let me become a God that you are used to. At that moment, he put his hand in my stomach and pulled out a bone from in my stomach. I screamed in pain and fell to the ground. I was holding my stomach, but there was no blood, no hole. I was completely fine, but the pain felt as if he ripped out my intestines. "Shut up," he said that. I continued to scream, but no sound was coming out. "I read the stories of your world. I read the stories of all worlds. Here's one you should know well. The story of Adam and Eve. First God made man, then he made woman from the rib of the man, correct? Well, here's your rib now. Let me make woman." The rib in that moment shined brilliantly, and a child emerged from it. Then I saw a faint light coming from the child, and the same light was coming from me. Then the two streams of light touched and disappeared. The being said, "Now your fates are intertwined. If this child perishes, so shall you. Try your best to survive in this world. My garden shall no longer protect you. Protect the child well, for she is now your lifeline. Goodbye. Now I'm here on the ground, rolling in pain, and I have a sleeping child next to me. I should be thankful that she isn't crying, considering I couldn't deal with the sensory overload at the moment. I just noticed that I'm no longer in that stupid garden surrounded by those fruits. That was my last thought before I finally passed out from the pain, and I woke up to a snake coming over to the baby. I hopped up instantly to rescue the child to find out that it's the same rainbow snake from before. "Why are you keeping her from me?" "That's a cute child. Is it yours?" "I didn't know that males from your world could give birth," the snake said as he snickered. "I don't have time to deal with him. I'm already feeling weak, and now I'm dealing with something I haven't felt in what seems like a lifetime." "Seems like? I guess it has been a lifetime. This gut-wrenching hunger that I'm feeling. Since going to the other world and ending up here, all I've eaten is 2 fruits. Fruits that may not have any nutritional value whatsoever. Children also eat. I have to find something. Surely she will starve before I do. And then I'm dead either way. Why me? Why do I have to go through this harsh life after death? What is it that I've done so wrong?" "Are you seriously thinking that?" the snake said. "I'm too lazy to question how he is listening to my thoughts. You know what caused you to become this way. You died and came to a new world with new rules. But something kept nagging at you that things were different, and you couldn't quite figure out why. You could have let it go. But you continued to pick at that scab, and it allowed me to creep into your mind. Who else would abide by the words of a talking serpent? Then once you ate that fruit in that buffer world, you couldn't accept what was because now you remembered what used to be. Being sent to a lower world, still he took pity on you and gave you a chance. One rule, do not eat the fruit, and once again, the words of a talking snake are just too seductive to not follow. Rebellion after rebellion, and you still have the gall to ask, what was it that you did? The snake was right in his words, but those words don't matter. Not anymore. The blame is mine, but now all I can do is live with it. I tossed outside the garden and have walked for miles. I don't know how far I've gone, but I have not found an inkling of some edible vegetation. I slipped on a little hole that was probably dug by a small animal. I hurried and flipped over to catch the sleeping child on my stomach, causing me to hit my head on the ground. I felt myself passing out again when I saw a shadow peek over me. All I felt was shaking as if I was being rolled down a cobblestone path. I kept fading in and out of consciousness. I don't know how long I was out, but I was wakened by the smell of food being made. A woman was standing over me and shoved a spoon in my mouth. I instantly spit it out. It was the worst thing I have ever experienced in my life. The bitter taste activated my gag reflex, but with nothing in my stomach, nothing came out. "What the fuck was that?" I yelled, to which the woman replied, "It was nutrients that you need to live, but if you want to deny my goodwill, perhaps it's better for you to go hungry." I felt bad, because I was on the verge of death, and here I am cursing my savior. I apologized. She sat the bowl next to me and walked to another room. I tried to eat a bit of the soup that she made, in which I still could not stomach it. At least I have a place I can relax for a bit. As I shifted to lay back down, I felt that pain in my stomach again, which made me realize, where is the child? I quickly hopped up and headed for the door, but the hunger caused me to become lightheaded, and I collapsed as soon as I took a step out the room. I saw the woman who just left me, chewing the soup, spitting it on a spoon, and then feeding the baby. I could barely muster words to ask what the hell she is doing, to which she turned around to look at my pathetic self laying on the ground. She yelled, "Grunt!" to which a large man walked out and grabbed me up, setting me back on the bed. "Feed him while you're at it," causing the man to force the bitter soup in my mouth, followed by him putting his hand over my mouth so I can't spit it back out. He did this until the entire bowl of soup was finished. Then the pain in my stomach made me sleep again. When I woke again, I felt a bit better and was able to stand on my feet and walk. The woman was still taking care of the child. "I'm not mannerless," I told her, "thank you for taking care of her. After all, that child is everything to me at the moment." I had to ask her why did she have to feed the baby her spit. She replied, "This is why I hate males. You ate that soup, did you not? Without grunt force feeding you? Could you have kept it down? That soup is much too bitter for a child, so we have to chew it first to get rid of the bitterness." But that's not the important question. The question is, who are you, stranger? And why were you in the barren forest? "The barren forest? You make it sound dead," I said. She replied, "It might as well be dead, seeing how nothing grows in it. Nothing but grass and leaves in that forest. A fruit has never been seen. Enough of that. Explain who you are before I have Grunt toss you out." I explained to her everything that has happened to me so far. Dying, being born in a vacant world, a serpent tricking me into eating a fruit, being cast out by a being lording around like God, ending up in his garden, then tricked by the same serpent into eating another fruit and being cast out again. Then I ended up here. "I see," she responded. "And the child, where is she from?" "She's from my stomach," I replied. "Well, I don't remember males being able to give birth. You will have to explain a bit more." I told her that being reached in my stomach and pulled out my rib, creating the child. That child and my life is intertwined, and if anything happens to that child, I die as well. I thanked her from the bottom of my heart for saving us. Well, you already died once and it hasn't gone well, so I understand not wanting a second time. From the sounds of it, you are similar to us, but this is the first I've heard of him pulling out a rib and forcing a child on someone. You must have truly enraged him. I was surprised. You know the being. Not just me, we've all dealt with that god. We, she said. Follow me. She opened her door to show an entire village of people. Welcome to the village of gods abandoned.